Hi guys, I just decided to make a quick video in terms of RPM Global's UGMS underground software solution. So this is the very familiar board and pillar section that I've created. Um, there's a lot of self-thinking that went into this. First of all, what I did is I started by building a three-dimensional block model in SIRPAC. That's what I imported then the block model into the software, into the reservoir part. So the software consists of two modules. The first one is the reservoir, where the geology and all the designs are taken care of. And then this model then goes over to the scheduler portion, where the schedule is then actually built. And I will just quickly have a look. We'll just see what it looks like without the waste. You'll also note that it's actually pretty simple to build these development drives. So all you need to do is, you'll see here, that's why I showed it here. These are basically just string files that's running right in the middle of the tunnels, right at the floor. And then in the package, you just stipulate what the height you want it to be, in the width, and the roof radius in the corners and so forth. And it basically creates these development drives for you. It's actually pretty simple. So for this board and pillar section, I realized you don't actually need stopes. The whole mine is just development. So it's, if you want to run different scenarios in terms of bigger boards and bigger pillars and higher roof and bigger intersections and so forth, because you'll see here with my intersections, I actually lifted it by 1/2 meter. So there's a whole bunch of variables that you can very quickly play with. And then you can schedule that and see what the timing is like, the tonnages and the volumes and the advanced meters and so forth. It's quite nifty to do that. I've also seen that you'll note that all the tunnels are running horizontally. I think maybe in the next coming versions, I'm hoping that you will be able to tilt the floor of these tunnels to run, with a dip. In this case, it's 9 degrees. But for now, all these tunnels are running horizontally. And then obviously going up dip, that's not a big problem. It's just these horizontal tunnels. Then moving over to the scheduling package. What I've done in this step is just to strategically locate belt tips, just to make sure that the LHDs don't travel more than 200 meters. So throughout all these board and pillar panels and so forth, you'll see these little soccer balls which represent belt tips. So all along these orange belt drives or conveyor lines, you'll see these strategic belt tips. What's also nice is it's only after you have developed through these belt tips that it will actually use it. It won't crook when it's mining here and what's mining here and already using that one. It has to be mined open before it can actually use those belt tips. So it makes it nice and realistic. If you then look at the animation, you'll see that first of all it starts here. So it can only start when there's an actual development. So these blue tunnels are the actual tunnels up to date. And then it starts developing from those tunnels. And the same towards this side here. This is your existing actual tunnels, and they're developing in both directions. So this is highly configurable in which direction you want the development to take place. I, for instance, used the attractiveness. I made these areas higher, more attractive, closer to the actuals. Those are more higher attractive areas. As you progress further away, it gets less and less attractive. So if we just speed it up a little bit here, and then see how it progresses. And like I said, this is highly configurable, how you want the mining to happen and in which direction and so forth. So the yellow, like I mentioned previously, the yellow lines are the belt lines. Orange lines are the reef drives that I call them, and then brown portions, or that's what I call the development stopes. Although this whole mine doesn't actually have stopes, it's just all development. So if you want to play around with different scenarios, it's actually pretty easy to do that. You just change your string layout and just rerun everything, and if I had to recreate everything, it'll basically take me a day just to recreate all this design work. It's really not that difficult. You know, the package is quite user friendly to work with. In terms of the results, we can then see right at the top that we've got the modified reef ton. So I've used the 5% loss and the 6% dilution. That's why I call it modified reef tons. So these are the annual on an annual basis. So you can see it's very up and down, and that's because of my reef drives being totally in the waste, which is probably not correct. You know, surely it's supposed to be in the ore. That's just the way that I created my block model. So there's obviously a bit of refinement necessary, and then to the left, that's on a monthly basis. We look at the waste tons also. I guess it's a little bit more consistent in relation to the reef. On the left, just on a monthly basis. The whole block model's got a 2.47 grams per ton grade, so that's why it's a flat line. If you look at the ounces coming out, obviously that's related to the reef coming out. Then if you look at the advance, the whole mine advances with about 180 meters a month. It's just slightly over 2 kilometers a year. You have the advance, and then if you look at for the belt drive, the LHD is only on the belt drives. You can see here's the 200-meter threshold, so they're actually pretty decent. Maybe here where I need to add another belt tip just to bring the distances down here. And then also for the reef drives, initially they're not too bad, but maybe another belt tip needed here, and then later on it's a bit better. And then in the development stopes, in the beginning there's definitely 1 or 2 belt tips that I need here, and then later on below 200 meters, that's not too bad. And lastly, just to show you what it looks like, not my emails, but the haulage routes. Okay, so right in the beginning, remember, I don't have a belt tip. There's no development here, so my belt tip, the closest one is here. As you progress, it shows exactly what the distance is. You can see here, one up there is actually quite far. It is, where did I click now? It is 390 meters. The other one's obviously a lot shorter. Let's get to it. Only 45 meters. As you progress through the schedule, it shows you the little route in terms of bringing the ore, the reef and the waste to the closest and the nearest belt tip. Let's progress a little bit further. You'll see how the mine is developed. Now you can see the route that it's using to get to the different belt tips. And there's a bit more refinement needed. See in that area there, then the distance is nice and short. And the whole idea is to keep your eye on the ball and make sure these distances obviously don't run away. So we progress. And right to the end is the last little bit of portion there that's keep in mind. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and see you guys soon. Cheers.